Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today for practice. This will be a fairly active practice, so go grab any props if you feel like you might need them. Some, if you're not familiar with props, that might be good. Let me back up here a little bit. Are blocks. You don't necessarily have to have yoga blocks like this, but if you have them, you can grab them. If you don't have yoga blocks and you feel like there's something that you might need or might like to try out, you can grab any sort of thick books or just anything that'll really bring the ground up to you. You can also have a bolster if you would like, or a pillow, and then also a yoga blanket. Now, it does not have to be an actual yoga blanket, it could be any type of blanket. But if you have one, you can go ahead and grab it, or just any other props that you, again, might feel that you want or need. And then I will meet everyone in a comfortable seated position. So just whatever feels comfortable to you. I am sitting on my blanket. That is going to elevate my hips a little bit, and it's a little bit nicer on my knee joints. So if you have sensitive knees and sitting cross-legged or anything like that is a little uncomfortable for you, then you can grab a blanket or just a pillow or anything like that. All right, so we're gonna start today just by getting centered and grounded. You may have been coming from work before you do this, or from something hectic. So this gives us a chance just to get on our mats, get into our bodies for a moment, and really just breathe and feel into ourselves and to just get our minds right for practice. Your palms, when you're in your comfortable seat, can be facing up or down on your lap, whatever feels good to you. And then if you'd like, you can also just close your eyes. We're going to take a moment just to focus on our breath. So as you inhale, just feel the coolness of the air as it enters through your nostrils. And then as you exhale, feel that contrast. Feel the warmth of the breath as it leaves your body. And while you're here, just take really deep breaths. Sometimes when we're stressed when we're stressed out or it's hectic, we can forget to breathe. So just take this moment to come back to yourself. You can even set an intention if that feels good to you today. Keep on taking nice big inhales and exhales. If your shoulders are up by your ears, go ahead and loop your shoulders up, back and down. Sit up nice and straight. Relax through your jaw. We'll take one more big inhale together. And then exhale, just let it all go. When you're ready, you can open your eyes if you have them closed, or just sharpen your gaze. You can go back to breathing normally. And then when you're ready, we're going to warm up our hips a little bit. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together, so in this nice cobbler's pose. Now, if your legs don't come down like mine do, that's okay. This is where you can use those blocks or those books and you can put them under you, and that's going to elevate the floor up to you. So it's a little less strenuous on your hips. While you're here, you can just sit up nice and straight and tall. You can Rub your feet, give yourself a little foot massage if that feels good to you. We're just going to continue breathing. And happy April. This is the free April practice. I have no dogs with me today. Nobody wanted to come and do yoga. Everyone is sleeping. So they might join later. We'll see. Usually Sam does. All right, wherever you're at, go ahead and just let it all go, and we're going to transition onto all fours just for a moment. Now, if you would like something underneath your knees to pat it, again, a blanket or a towel is really good. And actually, let me scratch that. Do not go on all fours yet. I got ahead of myself. Instead, I'm going to remove my blanket just for a minute, and then just turn sideways on your mat. So face the long end of your mat if you're not already. Then from here you can lean back on your hands. Maybe it feels good, you can kind of lie down on your elbows. I kind of like being up for this next one. And then I'm going to place my feet just firmly on the mat. Now, depending on when you're practicing, you have a few variations you can do. This is a fun one where if you're feeling really stressed out and you just need to get some frustration out, some anger, just anxiety, stress, this is a really good move. It's a really high-tech yoga move. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw a little bit of a temper tantrum. So from here, you're just going to lift one foot, smack it on the ground, and then the other, and then, like you've seen little kids do this, right? Where they're just banging their feet on the ground. We're going to do that. We're going to throw a tantrum. So if you're able to, if you're not going to wake up anybody, neighbors, other family members, roommates, go ahead and just let it all go. Let out some of that anxiety, some of that stress, any anger, and just have fun with it. So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Get loud, it's okay. If you feel silly doing it, it's fine. Just a little bit longer. And if you don't want to be loud, you can be softer. Oh, here comes Sam. Hi, Sam. Wake up everybody in the house. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and bring that to a stop. Now you see how I get them in here. It's okay. So go ahead, if you have pets, give them a pet, let them know it's okay. Okay, everything's fine. Let's go lay down, please. Okay, hi, I see you. Hi, excuse me. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna move them off of my room. Yeah, they're not a fan of that. If you had pets that responded to that as you're doing this practice, let me know in the comments. It's always fun. It's okay, go lay down. There are certain yoga moves that will bring them here. That is one of them. Another one, there's some other breathing techniques that they also will just show up for that they, I don't know if they like it. They probably don't like it. That's probably why they're coming here. So Fritz already went, he laid down. I can see him right here. Sam is poking around. All right. So hopefully that was a little bit fun. I know it's a little different, but I really like that move just to, can we not knock off my computer, please? Thank you. Just to get out some stress, anxiety, anything like that. And it's kind of fun to throw a temper tantrum. All right, so now we're gonna, now we can go to all fours. So if you do have sensitive knees, I would recommend a blanket. just to pad your knees. This mat I'm using, I've used before. It's kind of thin, so there's not a lot of padding. And from here, we're just going to continue warming up our hip joints. So from here, we're just going to do some leg circles. So I'm going to start with my left leg first so you can see it. I'm just going to bring my knee in, around, back, and down. So go ahead and join with me. Remember to keep breathing while you're doing this. So we're just going to rotate our hip one way. And then when you've had enough of that, we're going to reverse it and go the opposite way. All right, let's go ahead and move to the other side. So again, we're going to bring our knee in, to the side, up, and then down. So go ahead and do a few on your own. Again, make sure to keep breathing. And then when you've done a few on going one way, reverse your knee circle and go the opposite way. So we're just warming up in our hips, warming up through our legs. And when you've had enough of all of it, go ahead and return back to all fours. I'm actually going to remove my blanket and just get that out of the way. So if you'd like to remove your blanket, go ahead and do that now. And then when you're ready, let me kind of position myself on the mat here. We're going to stretch one leg just out and straight back. And then go ahead and lift the other leg up, coming into our first plank. We're going right into it. Now, plank's a little bit much for you. You can lower on the knees and stay here. That's perfectly okay, just depending on where you're at in your body today. Otherwise, if you are in plank, make sure your hips are dropping down and make sure they're not coming up. So you want to push away from the mat, push back through your heels, keep a nice straight line, and breathe. One more big inhale here. And exhale, let it go. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and step your right foot up, just in between your hands, and then go ahead and lower on your back foot, and you can untuck the toes. So we're just gonna come into a nice low lunge here. So make sure that this right front knee is at a 90-degree angle, and that you can still see your big toe. Now you can come up on your fingertips, or if you have blocks, this is another place where you could use blocks to bring the floor up to you. Keep your chest nice and lifted, looking forward, and make sure to breathe. All right, after your next exhale, we're going to slowly peel our hips back, peel those toes up off the mat, toes pointed towards the forehead, and you should feel a nice hamstring stretch. Keep lifted, keep breathing. You don't have to come all the way back. You don't have to push it or force it. This is going to be a problem in a minute, so I'm going to have to move a Sam. Remember to keep breathing. All right, we'll take one more inhale here. And exhale, let's go ahead and walk it back forward into our low lunge. Go ahead and tuck the toes of your left foot under, lift the leg up, and then we're going to step our right foot back, coming back into another plank. And we'll just hold here and breathe for a moment. One more big inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and lift your hips, shift your weight back. We're going to come into our downward facing dog. If you'd like to warm up a little bit more through the legs, go ahead and bend one knee and straighten the other, just walking our dog here. And after a few breaths of that, go ahead and bring it to stillness and just breathe. If your heels don't reach the mat, that's okay. They don't need to. They can be up. Mine don't reach the mat. Oh, and then when you're ready, we'll take one more inhale here. Exhale, let it go. And then we'll look up towards our hands and we'll make our way up to the top. Now, I'm not going to jump and I'm not going to take one big step. I'm going to take some little tiny steps because, as you can see, I have someone here who is in my way. So I'm just going to work around him. Sometimes you have to do that. And we're going to come into our forward fold. So on the inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it go. Again, this is another place where blocks might be beneficial to you, and you can have them on different settings, again, depending on your flexibility today and how you feel in your body. You might be able to bring your hands to the mat. Whatever you do, make sure your legs aren't locking out straight. So make sure there's a little bit of a bend, and you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings. And remember to keep breathing here. We'll take one more big inhale here. And on the exhale, go ahead and just slowly, slowly, slowly roll it all the way up until you are in a standing position. You can loop your shoulders up, back, and down. And we're going to come into this nice, strong mountain pose. So your ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and head should all be in one straight line. Keep your chest nice and lifted. You can even loop your shoulders up, back, and down. Hands at your side. And just breathe here for a moment. Feel that ground underneath you, just really grounding and supporting you. On your next inhale, go ahead and reach your arms up towards the sky, feeling a nice stretch in your side body. And then on the exhale, we're going to float it back down into our forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it all go once again. And just breathe. So what we did on one side, we have to do on the other side. So from here, we are going to step our right leg back and then bring that knee down to the floor. You can untuck your toes. And we're going to come into our nice low lunge on this side. Again, make sure your knee is at a nice 90-degree angle, nice lift in your chest, and just breathe. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, let it go, and we are going to peel our hips back, peel your toes up off the mat. We're going to come back into our nice hamstring stretch. I'm just going to work around Sam apparently today. He does not want to lay on the blanket. He wants to lay in the middle of my mat. So I'm just going to use him as a prop. It happens sometimes. And we just make adjustments. We just adapt. It's okay. So if you have kids or cats or chinchillas or anything else running around, just work around them. Don't use that as an excuse to not do the work. Just adapt and work around it. Because we're all going to have things that come up that make it tough to get self-care in and to get things done. All right, let's go ahead and roll back forward through our foot. We're going to tuck our right toes under, lifting that right knee up. And then we're going to step our left foot back and meet back in a plank. I'm going to attempt to. We'll see how well I do this. That's why those hip circles are good. All right, and then just breathe here for a moment. One more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, lift the hips up towards the sky, coming back into our downward facing dog. And breathe. He got a bath yesterday, so at least he smells good. While my face is so close to him. He was not happy with me yesterday at all. All right, when you're ready, let's look forward at our hands. We're gonna make our way back up to the top of our mat. So I'm gonna maneuver around Mr. Sam here. All right, and once you're in that forward fold position, let's go ahead and come up halfway. Again, nice flat back. And then exhale, let it go. And just breathe here again for a moment. I had a nice pop in my back. Now, if you bend your knees more, you are going to feel it more in your back than in your hamstrings. So just pay attention to your body and how it feels for you. All right, when you are ready after your next exhale, go ahead and roll up to standing once again. We'll just take a moment here in our mountain pose, our strong mountain pose, just to get grounded and centered once again. All right, so if you are not already towards the long edge of your mat, go ahead and make your way there. And bring your feet wide. So pretty wide here. They don't have to be super wide, but just wider than shoulder or hip width or accessory to your hip width. All right. From here, go ahead and place your hands on your hips. Nice, tall, strong chest. So nice power pose. Again, make sure you're not locking out of your knees. So a little bit of a bend is good here. So we're just taking up some space, breathing. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to the outside of your legs. Inhale, and then exhale, just like we did in that forward fold, we're gonna come down. So depending again on your flexibility and where you're at in your body today, you may be able to get your hands all the way down to the mat like I am. If you're not, you can grab blocks and use blocks or just anything you have around the house to bring that floor up to you. Some of you might have a headstand or a handstand practice. You can certainly do that here. Wherever you're at, just bring your head towards the mat. So we're just doing a wide leg forward fold this time. So it's a little bit different. It's gonna work on some different areas in our hamstrings to loosen them up. And then sometimes just being upside down, this is a good way to get a different perspective on maybe different problems you might be having. Certainly gives me a different perspective of Sam here. I can just rest my head on him. And you can certainly do that. You could do that with a bolster or a or a block or a dog, possibly a child. All right, we'll take one more inhale here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and we'll return back to standing. If you can keep a flat back and come up, definitely do that. If not, that's okay. Just roll up slowly and work mindfully through your body. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna bring our feet back together. We're gonna come back into our mountain pose here. Just breathe. Feeling all that blood rush back into our body. We were just upside down. I'm going to come back to the long edge of my mat. And on our our next inhale, go ahead and raise your arms up to the sky again, feeling that nice stretch in your side body. And then exhale, rain it all down, coming back into our forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it all go. And just breathe here for a moment. So again, you should be feeling some different muscles that are being stretched out in your hamstrings than what you did in that wide-legged forward fold. All right, let's take one more big inhale here. And then we'll exhale it all out. And then from here, let's transition back to all fours. So I'm just going to step one foot back and then drop to my knee. And then the other foot back and drop to that knee. Now from here, we're going to go into a puppy posture. If this does not feel good in your body, then certainly go into your downward dog. That might be a little bit more comfortable for you. But if you can, we're going to come into our puppy posture. So right now I'm on all fours. I'm just going to walk my knees back. I'm keeping my hand, and then I'm just going to walk my hands forward. And then from here, I can drop down on my elbows. So I'm just on my forearms here, and I'm going to bring my chest and my head to the mat. So kind of like when puppies are playing and they bow down and they're wagging and all that. I'm not going to wag. But just imagine that. So it's a very big heart opening pose. So your heart to earth pose, it helps to ground and breathe. If your head doesn't reach the mat, again, that's another place where you can use a blanket or a block to bring the floor up to you. Just breathe here. Take one more big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. And then when you're ready, bring your head back up, look at your hands, and then we're going to shift the weight of our body forward, bringing our hips down to the mat. You might need to readjust, I do a little bit. I'm going to walk my elbows a little bit forward. So my elbows are now under my shoulder, my feet and my pelvis and all of that are firmly planted into the mat. And I'm looking just forward, nice and straight. So a little bit of a back bend now. So this is Sphinx pose. Imagine those sphinxes out in Egypt. You're now one of those. You were a puppy, now you're a big stone creature. Now, if being up like this is a little bit crunchy on your back, lower down a little bit, come more forward. So this is just kind of a variation of like a cobra pose, if you're not familiar. Remember to keep breathing here. All right, so now we're going to transition just very briefly back to all fours. So you can bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then push up to come back to all fours. Go ahead, once you're there, bring your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Inhale, look forward, and then on the exhale, sink your hips back. You can walk your hands forward and then melt everything down into a nice extended child's pose. While you're here, remember to keep breathing. Right, let's all take one big inhale together. Exhale, let it all go. then we'll make our way onto our back. So slowly come up, and then you can just transition however it feels best to you until you're lying on your back. So we're gonna twist it out a little bit. I hope you guys can still see me. I think you can. I can't really see myself on the screen from down here, so I think I have it positioned okay. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a twist. That's really good to detox the organs and to flush out a bunch of crap we don't need. So go ahead and let's bring our right knee into our chest first to start with. Just breathe here for a moment. You can keep your left leg stretched out. And then from here, make a big T with your arms. So just arms out to the side, palms face down. And then take your right knee and we're going to cross that midline and bring it over to the left side. Now make sure that your right shoulder blade is not leaving the mat. If it is, then just come back down a little bit lower. You don't have to go all the way. Now if you're all the way over here and you feel like you need more of a stretch, you can bring that left hand just gently on the top of that right knee and sink deeper into the twist. But again, it's going to depend on your body and where you're at in the practice. If this again seems like a little bit much for you, you can use a bolster like I have here, a blanket, a pillow, and you can bring that under that right knee that's twisting over, just to, again, bring that ground up to you. Your head and neck can be facing towards the ceiling, or you can look out towards your right extended fingers. Wherever you're at, just make sure you're breathing. Okay, let's take one more big inhale together. And then on the exhale, we'll return back. Give your right knee one last little squeeze. And then go ahead and extend it out along the length of your mat. We'll pause here for just a moment, so just take a few breaths, compare both sides of your body, both legs, and see how they feel. And then what we do to one side, we have to do to the other because we don't want to be imbalanced. So we're going to go ahead and take our left knee. You can bring your arms or your hands around it and just wrap that shin, or wrap your hands around your shin to bring that in. So just give it a nice little hug in there to start. And then when you're ready, we can extend our arms out. Go ahead and take that left knee, cross it over the right side of the body, and then just make any adjustments you need that feel good in your body for today. One thing you have to do is keep breathing. So don't forget to do that. All right, we'll take one more big inhale here. On the exhale, go ahead and return to center. Go ahead and give that knee a squeeze. And then exhale, go ahead and release that leg. Go ahead and send everything out for a moment. See if both sides feel a little bit more even now. All right, so we are almost into our final resting posture, but not quite yet. I have one more move before we go there, so I'm kind of set up there, but we're going to do one more thing. So wherever you're at, let's go ahead and bring both knees in for just a little squeeze. You don't have to lift your head up. I'm just doing it so I can make sure you guys can still see me. You can, so that's good. So just breathe into your back body. You can feel it just rise and fall up against the mat. And when you're ready, go ahead and place both your feet on the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together, and we're going to butterfly our knees out. So this will look familiar from the beginning of class. So at the beginning of class, we did that cobbler's pose to start out with, sitting up. Now we're going to do a reclined cobbler's pose. So we're laying down, doing that same motion. Again, if you need anything under your knees to make it feel comfortable to you, to bring that floor up to you, go ahead and grab that and just slide it under there. Otherwise, you can place your hands on your belly or on your hips, and then just take a few moments to breathe. Take one more big inhale here. And then exhale, you can sigh it out. All right, we'll transition into our final resting posture, corpse pose or shavasana. So you'll just stretch one leg out wide and long, the other leg out wide and long. Take up some space. If it's cold where you're at, you can use a blanket. You can use a bolster underneath your thighs. If you have an eye pillow, that's sometimes nice to block out some of the light. So go ahead and settle into a comfortable posture for you. Just focus on your breathing. You can close down the eyes and just relax, letting the benefits of your practice just marinate throughout your body. While you're here, you can also, if you set an intention at the beginning of your practice, you can bring that up again to yourself and just see how that feels now. Or if not, you can just relax and let go. So I'm going to go quiet here for just a moment, and then I will guide you out of this posture shortly. So for now, just close your eyes, relax, and just enjoy. So the card that I pulled for practice today is Mouse Spirit, and its message is tend to the small things. So it says, are you too caught up in details, micromanaging others, and stressing out because you want everything to be perfect? Are you procrastinating because you want every detail to be just right and losing track of time and your priorities? Mouse Spirit wants you to listen to your intuition that tells you that the detail you fear you are overlooking will only appear when you stop obsessing. Mouse Spirit will lead you to the nuances you need to notice and will diligently work to support you if you take a breath and trust that guidance. Oh, and trust that guidance will be provided. Ooh, had to turn the page. Small gestures carry great power right now, and maybe you need to take action towards discovering what is going on that you may not be seeing, or towards mending a relationship or a situation. Ask a question, do a little research, and listen for Mouse Spirit's quiet little squeak telling you, look here and attend to this detail. It's a nice little message for this week. All right, if you are able to stay in Shavasana, stay as long as it feels good in your body. 2. If you need to get going, then go ahead and slowly just start to deepen your breathing. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing some movement back into your body. And then when you're ready, go ahead and firmly place your feet on the ground, knees bent. And then roll to your favorite side. And in that, whatever side you roll to, just stay in that fetal position for a moment, just breathing. When you're ready, go ahead and slowly push yourself up to a nice seated position, bringing your head and neck up last if your eyes are still closed. Once you are back seating, when you are back sitting up, sitting up, go ahead and open your eyes to the world around you. All right, well, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice with me and for sharing your time with me and your energy and your practice with me. This is the free April practice. If you are interested in more, I do every week on my Patreon account, I post a video that's only for subscribers. It is, at this time when I'm recording, it is $10 a month, and you get access to the whole past library of videos that I've done. And there's quite a few. I think this is number 43 or 2. So there's quite a few videos. So I've been putting them on there for almost a year now. So it's building up quite a bit. So if you are interested, please go and check that out. Links are in my bio. Let's see what else. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like. You can also subscribe to my channel. That way when the free videos do come out, you are notified first. You can get a jump on it. And then if you know anyone that this might benefit or who might like this practice, then go ahead and share it with them. Doing all of those things just helps get these videos out to others that might like and enjoy them as well. So again, I very much appreciate your support and your practice and your time and your energy and all of those good things. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. And if I don't see you over on Patreon, then I will see you next month here. Have a good one. Namaste.